How does trauma influence our current relationships, and what can we do about that? Hi there and welcome to the channel. I'm Roubina Khodadin with you. All of us, we are a bit like English tea. You know English tea? They mix black tea with milk. Let me explain. We've all got parts of us which are very neutral, which are very healthy, which are pretty much balanced. And I would say, let's call it, it's a little bit like the milk. And then there are parts of us which are linked to our past wounds, whether it's from past relationships, whether it is from past childhood wounds, whether they are small wounds or big wounds, whatever it is, we have been tinted by that. Even if we have healed to a large extent, we still have been influenced by that. And I would say this is the part which is a little bit like the tea, black tea. So basically this gives us some sort of English tea. And most of us humans, we are like English teas, right? And imagine two English teas coming together in a relationship. How can that affect us in so many ways? Let's take a concrete example. Let's take a new relationship, a new love relationship. Even before it becomes a relationship, just two people meeting each other. What happens? Let's say there is him and then there's her, and his wound is about the fact that maybe in past relationships he's done as much as he could for other people, for his ex-partners. He's been very helpful, he's been very kind, but people have never been grateful for what he's been doing. And let's say her, the woman, she's comes from a background where maybe as a child she's never felt secure, which is actually something very common amongst women, that we don't feel secure. And because of that, those people encounter each other, and what happens? They will obviously be looking for signs of insecurities, looking for signs of untrustworthiness. Whether it's consciously or unconsciously, they will be looking for those signs, because even if they are kind of healed, there are those wounds which are still a bit there, apparent. So if two people are looking at each other and they are being untrustworthy of the other, then there's bound to be lack of trust, and there's bound to be maybe the incapacity of getting into a relationship. Or if they are in a relationship, it can create conflict, it can create somebody running away. That's why we talk about avoided partners. It can create maybe breakups, because people have got difficulty like being there for one another, because if we treat a relationship as being neutral, then we should be able to be there for one another. But because of our past ones, we have this difficulty of being there for one another, as I said, because we're both English teas, right? So what can we do about it? The rest is coming up. In the meantime, please like the video before you forget, and why not subscribe and click the little bell. Okay, what can we do about it? It depends what is the stage of the relationship. If we are just going to get into a relationship, i.e. even before the beginning stages of a relationship, then there's two advice. One is just a logical advice, is about not jumping in head first, because if you jump in head first, you don't have the time to sip the cup of tea. You are just like sort of taking the risk of drowning into that tea, into the black tea. So not jumping in head first, going slowly. That's the first logical tip. What is the second one? Is that when we meet the other person, those kind of wounds, those kind of insecurity, those kind of feelings where we have the lack of trust, they will come up. So if you're working with a therapist, or you're working with a healer, or you're working with me, for instance, then we can use this as an opportunity to heal from our past. So the best thing is, as we're getting, or we are into the stepping stones of getting into a new relationship, is to actually have a therapist, a healer, somebody who's with you to help you heal even more from your past wounds. So that's the first thing. Now let's say we are already in a relationship and there's already trust in that relationship, means we've decided, okay, we're going to do this relationship together and we'll do our best. Then what we have to do is communicate. How do we communicate? Not emotional diarrhea, i.e., I tell you everything that I feel from A to Z, and I go into this big long rants about how you made me feel and this and that and that. Not that one, but communicate clearly. Let's say, to take the example that we did before, the man and the woman, let's say the woman the woman said something and the man feels like, okay, I'm not good enough. Okay, he feels the same thing as in past relationships. What he would do, he would talk to his girlfriend or companion, partner, and say, look, last time you told me that, and that's what it makes me feel. Is there a problem? What did you mean by what you said? And how can we fix it? So we are solution oriented and not just blame game. So that's how we communicate. The second thing that everybody needs to do, whether we're at the premise of a relationship, right in the middle of the relationship, or we've been together for 10, 20 years, is to have an emotional hygiene. Because what happens is when those wounds come up, it brings up emotions. And those emotions have to be released. And as they are released, we are at the same time healing ourselves and communicating better and being more at peace and more balanced in ourselves and more balanced in a relationship, which is the next video, which is about emotional triggers. And emotional triggers are actually what we need to look at and process and then address in the relationship to make it work and to make it better, which is the link to the next video. You're just going to have to click on it. But before that, do leave me a comment and let me know, does that speak to you? Is this something that is happening or has happened to you? And let me also thank you for your presence here, and I'll have my English tea.